So let's start with the basics. NFT stands for non-fungible token. The tricky part about this is always that word fungible. So let's dive into the middle and take a look at that. So fungible simply means that an item is mutually exchangeable. So for example, I can swap a $10 bill for another $10 bill or for two $5 bills. Now, if that's fungible, non-fungible means that these items are unique and they're not easily exchanged for another item of identical value. So I can't simply swap a Picasso for a Matisse, because I have both of course, or a movie ticket for a precious family photo. These items contain different kinds of information and they can have different types and quantities of value depending on their context. A token is a unit stored on a blockchain. So these units are just pieces of code, and most NFTs are on the Ethereum blockchain. A blockchain is a decentralized distributed ledger. And you'll hear those words decentralized and distributed a lot. But really what it means is that the records are stored across thousands of computers with no central owner. And it stores information in groups or blocks. The chain part relates to how the blocks are linked together through cryptography. So each new block contains a cryptographic hash of the prior block. This makes it impossible to alter the information in a block without affecting all the other blocks in the chain. An analogy might help. The New Yorker offers this. A blockchain is like the digital version of a scarf knitted by your grandmother. She uses one ball of yarn and the result is continuous. Each stitch depends on the one just before it. It's impossible to remove part of the fabric or to substitute a swatch without leaving some trace. Let's start looking at how they interact with the real world today. A collage of digital art by Beeple, or Mike Winkelmann, sold for $69 million at Christie's. The Kings of Leon released an album as an NFT, and people have even started buying virtual houses as NFTs. The NFT acts as a certificate of ownership and a receipt of purchase, but it is essentially a link that points to the original art file. Van Gogh's Starry Night is at MoMA. You can go there and through the crowds of selfie sticks, you can see it. If you want to get arrested, you can even touch it. The selfie-taking crowds will all go home with a smartphone image of the masterpiece. But no one will realistically think they own the painting just because they have a pixelated representation on a screen. The original painting has been reproduced millions of times on tea towels, mugs, and magnets. But the original is located there at MoMA, and everyone knows it. The cultural theorist Walter Benjamin wrote way back in the 1930s that this store of value is really the painting's aura, or the unique aesthetic authority of a creative work. Now, the aura is directly related to the velvet rope that gently reminds people like me that I can look, but only from a distance. Benjamin wrote that this is diminished, this aura, when the original is reproduced mechanically. He believed that the reproductions are of little worth, but he also believed that this process of reproduction reduced the aura of the original. But is it still true that a work of art is diminished by its reproduction? After all, we do view everything through screens today, so why not art? The problem here is that any piece of digital native art is only ever a collection of pixels on a screen. You and I can copy, screenshot, or save that collection of pixels, and we have essentially the same digital objet d'art on our laptops. No gallery, no velvet rope, and therefore no aura. It is not diminished through reproduction, it's that it is identical. And that lack of exclusivity makes it difficult for creators to make a living from their work. Take this, for example. You can save that GIF if you like. Your version will look like mine, and mine is exactly the same as the original. By using it, we are contributing to its value in a very minimal way, rather than diminishing it. The original sold as an NFT for about $600,000. Tomorrow, we could all decide these tokens are worthless and the market will crash. That's true of any asset, I know, but NFTs are entirely speculative right now. The man who bought Jack Dorsey's first tweet as an NFT for $2.9 million defended his largesse by saying, "Who knows what the first tweet will be worth in 50 years' time?" And he has a point, as well as too much money to burn. What if this is the beginning of a revolution and the earliest works like Superman #1 comics become insanely expensive in future? People in the art world never want to be compared to those Philistines who missed out on, say, the Impressionism movement. Still, this does lead on to one of the two genuine problems that NFTs could help solve in the art world. The first is, of course, helping digital creators to monetize their work. The second is known in the art world as provenance. Let's return to our earlier image. We're at MoMA and we have patiently waited our turn to see Van Gogh's Starry Night. What if the painting was a fake? Would it even cross our minds that it might be? How do we know that Vincent really applied the oil paint impasto style to this very canvas? We trust the surrounding infrastructure to take care of that for us. There are experts who verify such questions, and we trust the museum to display the real thing. After all, the trappings of the art world created the $69 million market for the digital painting by Beeple at Christie's. These institutions lend their authority to whatever they happen to put in a frame, or these days, on a screen. Of course, any sense of what is valuable or otherwise is up to our collective judgment. And it's helpful to think of NFTs in these terms as well. If we just look at, say, these cute collectible characters that are selling for huge sums on OpenSea at the moment, we can choose to believe they are art or just another passing online frivolity. But I would say we should look a little deeper. We should look at the system that is allowing this character to be sold, because that is what is at stake. There's no reason why digital art would not be displayed in our homes in future if it suited our personal tastes. NFTs are one step towards taking control for these artists, but they will not achieve this in isolation. The surrounding infrastructure needs to change too. Otherwise, we will just see the already rich get richer through other means. Our lives have moved online, so it is about time we found ways to value the artistic skills that new technologies enable. When the hype subsides, NFTs will have a long-term impact on how we achieve this. And if you like that, I think there's a button over there you can subscribe. Thanks a lot for joining.